Today I will be reviewing the Breakfast Best Homestyle Waffles. Now these come from Aldi and they are in a 10-pack of waffles. It has egg, milk, soy, and wheat, so if you're gluten-free or vegan, these are not for you. I've opened up the pack and I've taken out 3 of these frozen waffles, and you can see they are just kind of look like a standard Eggo type waffle. These indentations aren't very clear, and there's a lot of kind of rough shape around the edges where it seems like it may not have been cut very cleanly, as well as a few little holes in here as well. You can see the thickness. It doesn't look to be too thick, maybe about half an inch or so, uh, and it's pretty rigid. Obviously, it's frozen, but it's really not flat as well. I don't know if you can really see that, but this one doesn't really look to be flat like your standard waffle. Really not very thick. Doesn't look very airy, but I'm gonna go ahead and toast it out, and then we can see. So I've gone ahead and thrown this in the toaster oven for a couple minutes just to warm it up. And you can see it really is starting to brown up and crisp uh, pretty evenly along here. It's definitely a darker brown than before. These areas that were uncut seem to be a little bit darker than the rest. Like I think these will be a lot more crispy. You can definitely see a lot here and here. I'm going to just break it in half just to show you kind of the consistency there once you break it out. Um, Looks to be somewhat airy. The holes seem to have held up pretty well, that you would actually stuff, your topping into. So I'm going to go ahead and try it out plain, and then I'm going to go ahead after that and try it with a little bit of Aldi brand peanut butter. So let's get to it. First, I'm going to try it just as it is, and then I'm going to try it with a bit of peanut butter. Mm. Yeah, it's very, it's fairly doughy. I was kind of expecting it to be a bit doughy. Um, and after I toasted it, there is a fair bit of crunch. I think if I toasted it a bit longer, it would be much more crunchy. But I'm surprised that even though I toasted it, it retained a lot of the moisture and is still quite doughy. I think if you had that with a syrup, it would be probably absorb the syrup a lot and be really nice there. But the actual flavor itself is not very sweet. When you think of waffle, at least I think something very sweet. I'm going to be, dousing it with syrup. It's going to taste sweet on its own, naturally sweet. But this really isn't all that sweet. And the holes are really pretty small. It's relatively fine waffle holes here. So I think it should absorb into the waffle itself. I mean, you could see maybe even here something like that. It's quite doughy, but the flavor is pretty nice. It doesn't really taste all that salty. It tastes a lot more like almost like a plain white bread, I would think, but in the shape of a waffle. I mean, it's really not that sweet, but there's a slight tinge of sweetness when compared to a typical bread. So I think that goes well for it, but it is still quite doughy. I don't think you get that as much with a white bread, but it's not, I don't think it's like your typical waffle. It does remind me a lot of an Eggo waffle, but perhaps a little bit doughier. So I'm going to try it with peanut butter because that's how I typically eat my waffles in the morning, and we're going to see how that is compared to just a plain waffle. So I've scooped just a little bit of Aldi's plain creamy peanut butter on there, and it seemed to have spread really nicely and absorbed into the holes. So I'm going to try it out and we're going to see how it is. Hmm. Yeah, much better with peanut butter. I would say the doughiness of the waffle combined with the creaminess of the peanut butter is very dry. Like right now, I'm definitely in need of a drink. But the sweet peanutty flavor goes really nicely with the bready, doughy flavor of the waffle. And uh, it's really nice because there's a little bit of crunch from the waffle, a little bit of the chewy creaminess from the doughy center of it, as well as the creaminess from the peanut butter, and they go together very nicely. The waffle itself, I would say, is there's really nothing to write home about. It's nothing great. It works in a pinch for breakfast. Um, I think it's really easy to make. It goes in the toaster. It goes in the toaster oven. You can bake it in the oven. You can even microwave it if you wanted to. it's really quick, easy breakfast thing. But when you combine it with peanut butter, you get a little bit of protein in there as well. And it's a lot better flavor than alone. I don't think this is something you'd want to have with syrup and butter on top. It's really not one of those kind of delicious hotel style, airy, fluffy waffles. This is really a lot more condensed. It's doughy, it's dense. I don't think it would absorb the syrup very well because it's very moist in the center. So I'd highly recommend if you're going to eat these, eat them with peanut butter. Um, Otherwise, I'd maybe consider another brand. The Aldi brand is all right. It really does work in a pinch, but I don't think it's really anything delicious or wow, I gotta have that again. But I think in a pinch, in a early morning breakfast run, you gotta go, go, go. It's ideal. You can just pop it in the microwave, pop it in the toaster oven, slather some peanut butter, and go. So I hope you enjoy. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more cool stuff. Thanks. Bye.